Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 80s Parenting Podcast. My name is Malinda, and this is my friend Heather. And we've known hello, Heather. We've known each other for 42 years, and we decided to do a podcast because we're going to do new things, Heather. New things.
Yes. Yes.
New fun things in our 50s.
When you're in your 50s, you start looking for ways to be relevant.
Ways to be relevant. And out of not boredom, but I think when you turn like 40-ish, you decide to do things that you never did when you were younger.
Yeah.
Just because you want to experience as much as possible because you only have one life to live, Heather.
Yeah. And you want to leave a legacy. And our legacy is now an ode to 80s pop culture.
I know. I don't know if I want to leave a legacy. I just want to do all the things that are fun. So we
Oh,
decided,
that's part of it.
yeah, we decided to do a podcast. We started out telling our stories and all of our 80s parenting. And now we are diving back into pop culture and fun things that we took part of as children's. So
Mm-hmm.
today, Heather is going to talk about
A toy.
a toy. Ooh, a toy. Okay.
Yeah. Cue the sound effect. I'll see if anybody can figure out what toy we're going to talk about today.
Oh, shoot. I have to cue the sound effect. 1 second. Let me cue it up for you, Heather.
It's a very familiar noise. I can hear it sometimes in my sleep still.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
There it was.
There
There
it was.
some
Do you know what it
ASMR.
is?
Yeah, I know what it is because I'm looking at it. The
I know.
Rubik's Cube, Heather.
It's the Rubik's Cube. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful toy, the Rubik's Cube. So, little history. The Rubik's Cube is actually kind of fascinating. I didn't realize I had a Rubik's Cube growing up. I'll tell you of my experiences with a Rubik's Cube in a
Okay.
minute. Let's first get some history on how the Rubik's Cube became a thing. So, the first prototype was actually developed in 1974 by Hungarian architecture professor Erno Rubik. Sorry if I said your first name wrong, Erno.
Oh, poor Ernie.
Uh, the three-dimensional cube. Here's a story. The three-dimensional cube was used by Rubik to teach students about three-dimensional spaces in architecture class. However, this was not entirely true. Rubik actually admitted later that he actually wanted to create a puzzle that was around geometry because he was a lover of puzzles.
Nice.
So he set out to make a geometric puzzle, which he did successfully. So it was patented in 1975 as the Magic Cube. And originally it was made of wood and it had it had the same number of cubes and everything. Um, but like some of the cubes had a white dot in the middle of them, some of them had black dots. The corners were like sawed off. So instead of being a full cube, it
Mhm.
had like shaved off corners. So it was interesting looking. Um, they because he was Hungarian and Hungary was a communist country until 1989, they had super strict export laws. So Rubik wanted to market the cube, but to try to sell it, but he had to work around the export laws. So he started taking the cube to international toy fairs to market. So through the toy fairs, he met a toy agent, which I didn't know there was such a thing as toy agents, but apparently toys need agents too.
Yeah.
So through the toy agent, they pitched the Magic Cube to Ideal Toy and Novelty Company, who picked it up and renamed it Rubik's Cube and began to mass produce it as a plastic cube, which is the plastic cube that we know today.
Okay.
The cube itself is made of 27 tiny cubes called cubies. Isn't that
Oh,
Well,
Cubies.
I
That's
know.
nice.
Each side of the cube has one of six colors that form a square. Each individual block hinges on a round core, which I did not know. The inside of a Rubik's Cube is actually round.
Um,
Um,
I'll tell you in a minute how I knew that.
yeah, did you smash it? Because I wanted to.
I didn't, but someone in my family did.
I'm sure I can think of it. Which allows, so being hinged on that round core allows puzzlers to rotate the side or slide and rotate the cubies along one another. So you can do the whole
Twisty turny.
twisty turning motion. So how many Rubik's Cubes do you think were sold in the first 2 years?
What year was it?
It was mass produced and hit the stores in 1982, I believe.
1982. How many?
Yeah, so over the first 2 years,
Hmm.
how many do you think it sold?
I mean, it was very popular.
It was
I want to 1.2 million.
100 million
No way.
Rubik's Cubes were sold in the first
What?
2 years of it being in stores.
Holy shizness.
Yeah, I was like, wow,
That is a lot of cubes.
that's a lot of cubes. 100
I
million.
wonder if it's because everybody bought it because they were on a mission to solve it.
Yeah, well, we'll talk more about that
Mm.
weirdness in a minute.
I mean, I've seen it. I follow those Rubik Cube people on YouTube and stuff, and that is crazy stuff.
Yeah, my son has a friend, well, his best friend's younger brother. He
Yeah,
was a cuber,
yeah.
and man, that's the clicking, the constant clicking. I'm like, God bless your parents because I would have thrown that damn thing out the door.
It's not that bad. It's funny that well, you can talk. I'll talk about it later. But the guy that won the Olympic medal
Yes.
solved the Rubik's Cube in like 10 seconds and then went and won the bronze medal or silver or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Is it are you talking about the
The
gymnast
pommel
guy?
horse guy.
Yeah. Oh God, what is his name? Steven something.
I don't know. Stephen Cube.
Right. So because of its wild popularity, there have been several iterations over the years, including a snake type cube
Hmm.
and several patents for knockoff cubes,
Yeah.
which were not the genuine thing. And I saw a couple of knockoff cubes, and I feel like the knockoffs, I don't know what they did as far as um the way that it moved, but I feel like the knockoffs never were as smooth in their
Yeah.
turns and stuff like that.
I do remember one that looked like a pyramid.
Yeah, there was one. I had one of those. I
That
did
looked
not
like
like
a
it.
pyramid. The only
Yeah.
one that I could ever get right was the top.
Yeah, because that one was the easiest.
That's the one.
So the puzzle's fans are called cubers.
No, it was
And
cubers.
in 1982, the first Rubik's Cube World Championship was held in Budapest, Hungary. The winning solve time then was 22.95 seconds.
Dang it.
What I couldn't find and would be interesting, and in all transparency, I didn't look that hard, but it would be interesting to figure out or find out like how for these competitions,
Yeah.
like is it somebody's job before the competition to just completely jack these cubes up, or like how do
Okay.
they?
So, Heather, I got to tell you, I've done a deep dive on the Rubik's Cube before.
Okay, why?
'Cause you sit there and you watch one YouTube video and then you start watching more YouTube videos.
That's true.
And it's like I watched the Rubik's Cube and also like puzzles, like regular puzzles, jigsaw
Okay,
puzzles, like
yeah.
how they do that too. So the competition. So they do have someone that flicks and flacks them and then they take it very, very seriously.
Yeah, so how do they make sure that like every competitor's cube is the same amount of screwed up?
I don't know about that, but they definitely do them because the thing is there's a formula.
Oh yeah, they're actually these are like early algorithms.
Yeah, there's a formula, and then all these smart kids know the formula, and it just depends on how fast their fingers move.
Yeah, and these are your future coders, ladies and gentlemen.
They are future.
Yeah, they're probably already coding and they're 5.
Yeah.
Um,
So they would, so anyway, so however they mess them up, I'm sure it doesn't matter, right? It's like however messed up they're messed up, they still can figure out because they know by the way it looks. If you watch the videos, like the kids will take them and like look at them and then
mhm.
they hit the timer with their hand and then they do it real fast and then they hit the timer again and people go batshit crazy if one of the kids got it in like, 10 seconds or whatever.
Yeah,
And they have different levels. They have different cubes.
I
It's
know. It's
it's a whole thing.
crazy.
Yeah, it's fascinating. There's actually a documentary on it.
So there is a World Cube Association that
Mm,
has governed speed records since 2003.
that's
The
all.
records include blindfolded solving,
Mm.
one-handed solving, and fewest moves,
Yeah.
among others.
I've
There are
seen
many.
behind the back.
How?
Because Heather, it's it's flicking it as there's an
Yeah.
algorithm to it. So they twisty turny and then it always works out. Once you have that down, it's like, 3 to the right, 2 to the left, whatever it is, then
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what side you start on. It all ends up being this colors.
I don't know. Those are people that are smarter than me.
It's not
Apparently.
necessarily being smart, it's just knowing the combinations.
The patterns. Yeah, I'm not good at like I'm good at finding patterns in certain things, but not in anything mechanical
Oh,
at
I
all.
couldn't solve the
No,
Rubik's
not
Cube.
at
You
all.
know how I tried to solve the Rubik's Cube?
I'll tell you in a minute
Mhm.
how I did it.
Yeah, let's hear it. And then I'll tell you my story. Bye.
So
The same story.
here we go. A new single solve world record happened in 2023. So
Ooh.
very recent by
Yeah.
a young man named Max Park.
Mm.
Guess what his solve time was?
4 seconds.
Close. 3.13 seconds. I don't
It
know.
wasn't he really young?
I couldn't find his age anywhere. Again, in full transparency, didn't do a super deep dive, but he looked younger. He was like a younger Asian man.
So
So
I think I've seen that one. Maybe
I
not.
don't have I don't have an age for him, but his name is Max Park. If you would like to
Yeah.
take a
Max,
look at the new record holder.
good
Also of
job, Max.
interest, in 2012,
Mhm.
1,100 or sorry, 1,414 people set a world record in London, England by simultaneously solving Rubik's cubes.
Very
It's
well.
like that's interesting. The Rubik's cube has medical conditions named for it, including Cube's thumb and Rubik's wrist,
Oh, geez.
which are both related to the rapid succession of movements, similar to carpal tunnel
Yeah.
or tennis elbow.
I
The
guess if you do
Rubik's,
something long enough, then you're gonna have an ailment.
sure, exactly. I'm like, don't you get bored eventually once you figure out how to solve it? I feel like it would be
No,
boring,
it's the time.
I guess.
I mean, I would keep doing it until I got a better time.
Yeah.
You
I
always have
just did it till I got it, and I was like, and I'm done.
to try to beat the time.
The Rubik's Cube has been featured on The Simpsons 6 times,
Nice.
and in the movies The Pursuit of Happiness, starring Will Smith, and Disney's Wall-E.
Oh yes, Wally. I remember the Wally one.
So that's fun. And then there are various cheat sheets and YouTube videos on how to quickly solve. There you go.
Hmm.
However, my favorite method of solving the Rubik's Cube
Yeah.
is just peeling off the stickers and putting them back on again.
Same. Okay, so this is so sad. I can't believe I'm going to admit this, but we had a Rubik's Cube and I took a hair dryer to it to like have the adhesive loosen.
You put in way more effort than I did. I just peeled that crap off.
I got like a few off and I'm like, what am I doing? And then I didn't know where to put them back. So it was probably never would have been solved because I put
Yeah,
the stickers back wrong.
it was like the unsolvable cube. Was
Probably.
it your brother that shattered the cube with the hammer?
No, we took it apart with a screwdriver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and inside there's like screws holding stuff together.
Yeah. I wanted
So
to hit it with a hammer because I don't have that kind of.
no, if you pop the things off, then you can take the screws out.
See, y'all
Pop
were way
or
more.
something.
Y'all were way more into this than I was. My favorite part of this story was how they're called cubies.
I know. It's so cutesy.
It's such a cute name.
It's very cutesy, very cute.
Did you know
Oh,
the Rubik's Cube is celebrating its 50th anniversary
oh
this year?
shit. The Rubik's Cube is as old as we are.
I know.
Happy
I'm like,
birthday.
happy birthday, Rubik's Cube.
Let's become cubies. Let's like
Cubers.
cubers, whatever. Let's,
Cubies are the cubes.
oh, cubies are the cubes. We should get Rubik's cubes and see if we can solve them.
I just have to go borrow them from Caleb's friend. He's
No,
got several.
just go buy one.
I almost did. I was going to send Caleb to get one on the way home so I could sit here and try to solve it on
So,
the video, but then I was like, do I really want to spend $10 on something that's really just going to piss me off? And I know it's going to piss me off because it pissed me off when I was 8 years old.
yes, now I'm taking it as a challenge because I'm taking the higher ground, Heather, and I'm
Okay.
taking it as something new to learn in my 50s.
Well, let's both go get Rubik's Cubes today then.
Get it? I will not get it today. I will order it since I don't go in stores.
There you go.
I will order it and it'll be here tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Amazon it is.
I don't remember because I wasn't in that community of people wanting to solve the Rubik's Cube.
Me
I
neither.
We just had one because it was popular and I was very into having things that were popular.
Me as well. You
So,
wanted, all the fun things. I'm trying to see how much a Rubik's Cube, because now they're $10. I know because I looked on Target's website.
yeah. So I wasn't really into that particular toy. So I wasn't really wasn't really into it like a lot of people were into it. I feel that people that are good at Rubik's Cube would probably be really good at like chess and stuff like that.
No way.
Or video games, like really good at
This,
video games.
they're trying to tell me on the Google that a
Hmm.
Rubik's Cube was only $1.99 in the
Yeah,
80s.
because I don't remember them being hard to find.
Yeah. Well, no wonder they sold 100 million. If they were only $2.
Yeah.
Well, now it makes sense that they're only $10.
Well, for a game, a little game like that, I wouldn't, in the 80s, nobody would have bought it if it was $10.
That's true. In Japan, there were more than 4 million sold in the first 8 months.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, now when we had it in the 80s, it was trying to solve it. So I don't know how long it took for somebody to actually solve it and to actually get on the news.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of people solved it in a minimal amount of time, but nobody knew because there was no social media. There was no way to tell anybody. You
Yeah.
told people at your school, maybe like the nerd crew at your school, but
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure some
that
of like the
you're
architecture students that he originally started with probably solved it pretty quickly because geometry would be their jam.
yeah. So I mean, they probably solved it, but nobody knew. But now it's a whole culture.
Yeah. Hence the Cubers and the World Rubik's
Sure that
Association.
there's, you know, 55-year-olds, because I bet you at 5 years old, people started playing with those cubes. So they
Mhm.
might be like 55, 56 years old now.
Yeah,
So they probably broke records a long time ago, but nobody knew.
that's crazy. So if you'd like more information on the Rubik's Cube, Rubiks.com and museumofplay.org are good resources to look at.
And we'll put all the resources in our show notes, which I forgot to say in our last podcast. So every podcast, we will put everything in our show notes,
Good call.
all of our resources. It doesn't really matter.
So go get yourselves a Rubik's Cube. Let us know how long it takes you to solve it. We're on the socials. We're on the Instagram, the TikTok, and the YouTube. You can watch us make fools of ourselves every week on YouTube.
Yeah, I am seriously gonna get a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, me too.
That's one of my new things for this year. I'm gonna
Okay.
try to solve the Rubik's Cube.
I need to change a bingo to solve a Rubik's Cube.
There you go. I also bought stuff to do needlepoint, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, did you start that yet?
Not yet. Give it time, Heather.
All right. I learned how to play the drums this year. And
See?
then I ended up with tennis elbows, so I had to stop playing the drums because my elbow hurts all the time
I
now.
know. Now I'm like, oh, my arthritis is gonna kick in and I'll be able to flip a freaking cube.
I know. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, wait, can I flip a cube? Probably not.
I mean, you don't have to do it as fast as those people,
Oh no, I will not be doing it as
but
fast as this.
my goal now is to research how to solve it and see if a person of my age and my abilities can solve it with all those moves that they tell you.
Yeah.
So,
Why don't you just try to solve it first and then use the proven methods to see if it's faster?
Heather,
I mean, we're talking days for
that
me.
could not do it in the 80s. So I am a fan of anything that will help me figure out something. I'm going to do that.
There you go.
So stay
All
tuned.
right.
Stay
Well, go
tuned.
get yourselves a
Everything else.
Rubik's Cube.
Bye.
Bye.